What happens when you combine the darkness with the light? Bringing pain like two bad nurses.
You're on.
Rolling?
Yeah.
So, this is the story of the first time I fell in love. So, I was like 17 or 18, and I was hanging out with my friend. We called him C Murder. Big, stocky football player, wrestler type guy. And he was cool. And at the time, I had just for about a year, I had just started studying the game of poker. So I had studied strategy and math, and just recently I had began at that point to study body language and the psychology of poker. And I was hanging out at his house. We were just kind of, practicing and talking about poker. And he was my first ever student, and by far my best student. I mean, when I would tell him, read this chapter, he would read that chapter. I would tell him, do this writing assignment. He would do the assignment. And because of his, thing, he became a good poker player in his own right. He really followed direction. So, anyway, we're playing one-on-one. And, when you first learn about body language in poker, and you learn to watch someone's carotid artery on their necks to see their heartbeat, and you learn to watch not the poker face, but the poker hands, how they stack their chips, how they touch their cards, where their eyes go, and all this stuff, hand over mouth. It's overwhelming when you first learn it though, because there's just so much information that you're trying to absorb from their nonverbal cues at once, and you have no context. You have no library yet, because you're just learning to watch. So it's really overwhelming. So I developed this strategy to allow my subconscious, my intuition to speak to me rather than trying to think too much, because you have to make decisions quickly. So my method was, I would look at their cards, and rather than watch their body with laser focus, I would look at their cards and I would, in my mind, visualize two cards. And then I would replay the hand. 2 aces. Check, check, call, check, raise. And I'd be like, that doesn't make sense. Right? That doesn't make sense. And I would keep doing it. And then eventually, I would find one and it would fit. And in this moment, we're playing and I visualized King of Clubs, Jack of Diamonds. And something like a lock just like clicked. And I felt so 100% sure that that's what he had. Like something was like screaming to me. And I even was precise. It said, it's not the King of Clubs, it's the King of Spades. Now, whether it was spades or clubs had no bearing on the hand. That didn't even matter. But I was sure it was King of Spades, Jack of Diamonds. And I had nothing. My hand was 0. But I called all the way to the end and I said, I have to see your cards, because you have the Jack of Spades, the Jack of Diamonds, King of Spades. Like, I'd never been so sure of anything. And he flipped over his hand and that's what he had. And from that moment on, I knew that this was my passion. That this was something that I that I had to pursue. That's when I really fell in love with the zen of poker, and it became more than just a game, but like a spiritual experience for me.